Well, I'll just go first, I guess. If you do you like to go first, or
No, go ahead.
okay. Well, I just take the word when it comes to trans women. I don't believe that they're women because I just take the word woman to be a biological concept or a biological category, not defined by one's identity and/or some sort of social aspect. I would say a woman is an adult human female. A female being any organism that is of or primarily denoting the sex that produces large gametes, for simply. Therefore, categorically would exclude trans women as trans women are born male.
Okay, and considering you debate this topic kind of often, I'm actually kind of new to the topic. I think you have a lot of experience in this. Can you tell me, is there a proposition that this worldview is mutually exclusive with, as opposed to the pro-trans worldview?
Well, I would think so because the pro-trans view often defines the category woman as some sort of social concept, right? Versus the gender critical perspective, which defines it as a biological concept. So that's the main distinction. So yeah, I don't think. Go ahead.
I was going to ask if there was a proposition specifically.
The proposition being that trans women are not female.
Uh, trans.
I don't think I don't think pro-trans people or most think that they're born female. So I
I don't
think that.
think. Yeah, I mean that's a proposition that you guys converge on. It seems right
That we can what? Sorry,
that you converge on.
converge.
Yeah, converge as opposed to diverge.
Converge meaning what? That we agree upon in some instances.
Yeah, you concur. There's like
I, I
unity
don't.
there.
I don't think. I don't. Trans women are not female.
Yeah.
Oh well, I guess the proposition is that trans women are not women. That would be the
Yeah,
that
so
would,
that's why I labeled it as convergence and not divergence, because I was asking for divergence, not
right. So
convergence.
the case. Sorry. So the case where we diverge would be that we disagree that trans women are women. I don't think that they're women, and they think that they are women. That would be the pro
Okay.
trans.
And do you know the difference between a proposition and a sentence? Or,
A proposition in a sentence. I would say so.
well, yeah, it's kind of like if I were to say uh, ego cogito cogitatum, and then I said I think a thought. Um, I just gave the same proposition twice. They're different sentences. They have different words, but I gave the same proposition two times. They're identical. And so when you give me different words to express the same proposition, I mean, I don't think that's a contrast in proposition, or at best, nothing that's mutually exclusive. And so, what I'm very curious on, as somebody who I actually don't, I never really debate the trans topic. I don't find it super interesting, but I was hoping you, as somebody who debates it pretty often, would at least be able to tell me that it's something mutually exclusive between both of those worldviews.
I just did one. I don't even understand the relevance, but even then, yet again, the mutually exclusive proposition is that one person thinks trans women are women and the other one doesn't think trans women are women. That's a clear distinction. So the proposition that the pro-trans crew is making is that trans women are women, and then the proposition that the gender critical or the anti-trans view is taking is that they're not women.
Yeah, for the relevance, I'm trying to debate you on your like best topic. In order to understand a debate, it's two opposing arguments. Opposition would invoke some sort of mutual exclusivity there. But when you have propositions that diverge in the semantics of them, or sorry, I'll say when you have a set of two sentences that diverge on the semantics of the terms that they use, well, when you have that negation there, like, oh, trans women are not women, but by women in that sense, I was talking about adult human females. Well, then yes, I'm pretty sure we just established that we agree. No one's saying that women are adult human females. I was more so asking, is there a phenomena that is able to be talked about, discussed, and arguments to be motivated for, and not just like two sentences that mean different things. So when I walk up to you and I say trans women are women, and by that I mean, well, trans women are people in society who desire to pass a particular threshold of characteristics that respective society typically deems as feminine. I don't think you disagree with that. Do you disagree with that?
Do I disagree with what? I didn't even understand what you just said.
Well, it's just like like a very fast way of saying the definition of women that I use.
Well, yeah. So clearly, the distinction is the distinction between the two views is how we view the word woman. That's the main distinction, because the whole dispute is it's an entirely semantic dispute. The dispute is what we mean by the word woman.
Okay, well, I'm glad we agree that it's semantic, but in given that, that means that the semantics would change, and so there doesn't really seem to be a difference in propositional value. But I mean, I guess I can take on this part because I don't think you're able to tell me a proposition that there would be mutual exclusivity for, which is a prerequisite for a debate.
I
But
just gave you.
I'm able to tell you like an actual proposition. But if you want to insist that you gave me a proposition, here I'll give it one more time. What is that proposition?
Is trans women are not women? Is that not a proposition?
Trans women are not women, and by women you meant there.
Well, well, that yet again depends on the meaning of the word. If the meaning of the word in that, for the person saying trans women are not women, they mean adult human female, and then for the person saying trans women are women, they mean a different meaning of the word. I don't know what the meaning of the word would be in that
Yeah,
case.
obviously. So the sentence there contains a variable, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so variables are unsatisfied, propositions are satisfied, therefore this isn't a proposition.
Okay. So
So
then I,
you, yeah, so again, continuing what I was saying before you decided to insist that you had a proposition when you actually didn't. An example of a proposition would be some sort of normative proposition. It could be like a theory of language that you think best encapsulates a common usage. You can use inductive cases such as that. And an example would be like most people do not use the term woman to elucidate an adult human female in common everyday language. That would be a proposition that doesn't have any variables. All of the words would
well,
be diverged on,
no, well,
and
it
the
does
only
because
thing. Go
no,
ahead.
hold on. Wouldn't yet again the person have a different meaning of the word woman when they say most people don't use the word woman to refer to a isn't the variable woman yet again?
Are
If
you familiar with it? That
isn't
are
the
you, yeah,
I'm
no,
just
it's not.
I'm just asking a question. Is
Yeah,
the
yeah.
word woman not a variable there as well?
I already answered the question. I said no, and the reason
Why?
why. I was about to tell you the reason why. The reason why is because of the use mentioned distinction. The first proposition uses the term woman. When you use the term woman, that makes the propositional value contingent on the use of it. That's what use means. But when you mention a proposition, that is to refer to a utterance which can be an open variable, and the propositional value does not contingent on that. Are you
Okay.
familiar with the use mentioned distinction?
I do know what the use mentioned distinction is, yes.
Okay, so why was there that conflation? It seems pretty obvious to me.
I didn't realize you were utilizing the use mentioned distinction. So yet again, what is the relevance of the question?
I didn't ask a question most previously. I gave you an example. In fact,
No, I'm talking about
I got all the information I needed from the first question. I got all the information I needed from the first question, which is like, do you have a proposition? Yeah, I don't think you do. I don't think there's any need to ask you that. Do you have a proposition that there's mutual exclusivity on? But then I stepped up to the plate and I was like, okay, I'll go into this topic that you debate very often, and I'll tell you the proposition that is mutually exclusive, or I'll give you a list of things that are actual propositions that are mutually exclusive between both opposing parts of the conversation.
okay, and
Okay, and so do you have motivation for your thoughts on one, or do you, given this example, do you maybe have a proposition now that you think is mutually exclusive, or do you
no,
just
I
agree
don't.
with everything?
No, because I don't think I need one in order to have the discussion. Because yet again, the distinction is the difference on the views is the meaning of the word woman.
Yeah, you don't need it to have the discussion, but notice how this isn't a discussion. I label it as a debate. A debate would be an argument between two opposing positions. That's what it's in the definition opposing. Opposing would be mutually exclusive. It even uses the term argument, like the first definition of a debate uses the term argument. And the term argument would just be like a set of premises, which are propositional, that get to a conclusion, which is also propositional. And propositional is just something that you don't have the ability to satisfy. And so I can actually start listing out propositions, and then you can tell me which one you disagree on. Does that sound better?
Sure.
Okay. The proposition would be most people, when they, it's just the most previous one. So when most people use the term woman, adult human female is not an exhaustive criteria for that term.
When most people use the word woman, the adult human female is not the most exhaustive criteria. Can you
Not
elaborate?
the but it's not the most exhaustive criteria. It's just when most people use the term woman, adult human female is not an exhaustive criteria.
When most people use it, I don't agree with that.
Okay. And yeah, I'll just give some motivations for it. So I guess now that we clearly have the proposition, I can give some motivations for it. But in order to give the motivations, I need to establish and make sure that we understand certain premises. So would you say that Harry Potter is a boy?
Hmm. Harry Potter? Is Harry Potter a boy? Uh, in the fictional cartoon or in the movie? In like the actual casting?
The book. I'm not talking about the movie.
In the book, no, it's a depiction of a boy, not a boy.
Okay, okay. Harry Potter is not a boy, right?
No, a depiction of one.
And what do you think depiction means?
A depiction, it would just be some sort of representation of figure to represent something.
Look, you can say that the pages on the book represent a boy, but it seems like Harry Potter is an adult human or sorry, I guess we can use adult Harry Potter. Seems like Harry Potter would be an adult human male, right?
It would be a depiction of an adult human being.
So I could say that the pages depict it. So again, when we talk about depictions, depictions are something that elucidate or even refer to. But the thing that it refers to has those properties because Harry Potter, the name is already a referent, and so you could say like the mouth noise refers to that thing in the same sense that the depiction refers to that thing. But as long as you have that referent there, we're isolating the variables in that sense. And so the proposition
That's not what I
Harry
mean by
Potter.
that's not what I mean by depiction. Well, I'm just referring to representation that is done by drawing or painting or some other art form. That's essentially what I mean when I say something is being depicted. So Harry Potter is a fictional character. Therefore, I think the the only men that exist are actual human adult males. So you can depict one or represent one in a storybook. But Harry Potter isn't actually a boy or a man. He's a depiction of one in a fictional story.
Is Harry Potter a wizard?
Is Harry Potter a wizard? I, I don't know if like the concept of wizard itself is fictional, so I actually don't know. Let me actually look quick. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if
I don't think this is.
I don't know
I feel
what
like this really shouldn't be something that you would like struggle on, but
I don't no I don't know whether or not the word wizard refer. I don't know if there are actual human wizards or if there are only fictional wizards. That's the reason I'm asking.
I feel like most of the people that I would ask is Harry Potter a wizard. I feel like they would easily be able to answer that question. And I also feel like if I asked them, "Hey, is Harry Potter a man?" In the later series, when he's an adult human male, and it depicts an adult human male, is that reference is Harry Potter a man? I feel like a lot of them would just easily say yes. And
Okay.
so, given that, I think I have some data against your view. But if you want to like take some time and think about, is Harry Potter a wizard? You want to think about that.
Yet again, I don't know whether or not the word. Let me just look at it for a second. Oh yeah, so a wizard is in legends and fairy tales a man who has magical powers. So like I suppose, yeah.
Oh, okay, beautiful. So we have the proposition Harry Potter is a wizard. Why is it the case that he doesn't just depict a wizard?
Well, because the word wizard is literally fictional, so it wouldn't be a depiction of something that is really just what it is. The category itself is fictional, so it would just be a wizard in that world, as opposed to a man, which actually does exist in the human world. Um,
So
the
Harry Potter's not white.
Harry Potter is not white, depicted as white, not white. Yeah.
Well, yeah, so he's not. So Harry Potter is not white. He's not a boy.
Yeah.
He is a wizard.
Yeah, because the word wizard exists fictionally.
This
But
is hilarious. I'm actually enjoying this a lot more than I thought.
saying it's hilarious doesn't like prove any inconsistencies. I'm not really sure I
I
understand.
didn't say that was a proof for inconsistency. Just calm down there.
Okay, so yet again, Harry Potter is not white. Harry Potter is depicted as white, and Harry Potter is depicted as a man.
Well, all the LLMs are disagreeing with you. So
I
I take
don't.
LLMs. I take LLMs to. I think the vast majority of propositions that an LLM will display to you has a truth value of t. It is true, and so given that this LLM actually does sign off and it doesn't agree with you, I mean I think that's some data that is going to be needed to be reconciled on your view. I mean at this point I'm kind of just like reductio farming, because I mean this definition is so bad. Like people who disagree with trans women being women, they have to say things like Harry Potter's not a boy, he's not white, he's not short,
He's not
he doesn't have brown hair.
in the book.
Ronald
In the
Weasley
book,
is not a ginger. I
Yeah,
mean, these are
there's
things.
nothing
How do you
wrong with,
reconcile? How do
but
you
yeah, because you're
reconcile the
referencing,
data?
yes,
How do
because
you
you're
reconcile the
referencing,
data
because
that's missing?
I don't need to reconcile any data. You're just referring to common usage, and but just because my language or my linguistic understanding isn't in accordance with common usage doesn't mean that it's inconsistent, right? So I got a phone call. One sec. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hold on, let me just put my phone on silent. Hold on. Sorry, I was saying, right? So just because my semantic usage or my semantic like thesis on words isn't in accordance with common use, it doesn't point to any inconsistency. I think there's a clear distinction between fictional representation of something or fictional depiction of something versus the thing itself. So there's nothing wrong with saying that Harry Potter isn't actually a boy. He's depicted as one. There's nothing wrong with saying that he is he isn't actually white, he's depicted as white. These are depictions in a fictional film. So there's nothing wrong with saying that. Granted, we're talking about fiction. So yet again, I don't see what I have to reconcile for. I'm making a clear distinction between depictions and fictional characters and then real life scenarios. I don't
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for the gifts. But this is like absolutely beautiful. So are you familiar with Yu-Gi-Oh?
Yu-Gi-Oh? No, not familiar.
It's like a card game where like there's a lot of it's just a card game. There's summon monsters. But the thing about Yu-Gi-Oh I really like is the ability to set trap cards like before your opponent makes a move. And so I guess dialectically speaking, me setting down a trap card would be me telling you, hey, look, I'm not interested in just like semantic contrast. I'm not interested in semantic coherency. I'm interested in a proposition that makes an expression about the empirical data that we have available. And so when I get you to a point in the dialectic where you tell me, look, pointing to the fact that and I'll actually attempt to quote you as best as I can, but just because my language isn't in accordance with common usage doesn't point to an inconsistency. Well, that's exactly the thing that I was trying to prove, is that it's not in accordance with common usage, because the entire proposition that I signed off before, and I was very pertinent in signing off on that proposition. You might have been wondering, why are you so pertinent in signing off on this proposition? Well, it's because I understand your position 10 times better than you do. And so that's why I'm able to get to these points where you tell me, well, just because my language is in accordance with common usage doesn't point to inconsistency, but pointing to the inconsistency was the part of the conversation that I was not interested in, and actually got us both to agree that we're talking about accordance with common usage, because common would be the empirical part of the proposition that I already established earlier.
Okay, I'm going to be so honest with you. The host nor anyone in the chat nobody here understood what you just said.
Yeah, but it's okay. I mean,
I just want to say I didn't understand what you said. So, anyways, as I was saying, right, when we have these kinds of discussions, that I'm interested in discussing, are the differences or like the consistency of a person's like semantics. So you often like reduce the semantics down to a point where or highlight some sort of inconsistency. You simply saying that, oh, I guess my position does not align with common usage, I don't really see as an issue, because there's lots of views where persons semantic understanding doesn't or isn't conducive with common usage. It doesn't mean that the position is inconsistent. It's my issue. So again, I don't understand what you've achieved here. What have you achieved?
You say that you don't see it as an issue, and I want to ask, what is it not an issue for?
It's not an issue for the view.
The view, and that view is?
That trans women are women.
Wait, the view that I told you I'm not interested in? Wait, the view that, like, the first thing that I said, wait, yeah, the view that the first thing I said is that I kind of don't care if you just define a woman as a sausage link. Wait, hold on, I wasn't done. Wait, I wasn't done. Why are you talking? I wasn't done.
Hold on. So who was talking first?
I was talking. I was saying
that's not true.
I was saying the position on saying the position being that trans women are not women. You saying you're not interested in that means you're not interested to have a debate, because my point of the debate, the whole point that I have this discussion, is to figure out what people mean by the word woman. That's what I do. If you're just going to be here and say that I don't align with common usage for the word, then you're not interested in having a conversation with me. That's why I said before, I don't think it's worth having a conversation with you, because every time we had this conversation, you did the same thing. You didn't actually engage in like the meaning of the word woman. You don't posit a definition. Well, you did at some point, but you're not interested in diving into it. You just want to give the definition and then tell me that my definition is not in accordance with common usage. Are you actually going to posit a definition where we're able to actually critique it? Or are you just going to keep saying that my definition isn't in accordance with common usage? So that seems to be a little bit of running from your end.
That's not running. That's actually me being very keen on what the proposition is. If you paid attention at all, and I'm so glad this is on recording, because if you paid attention at all to what we made the proposition, it was not just whether or not you define a woman as a sausage link or not. I don't care. I could define a woman as a sausage link, and then I could just like say, what's going to be the issue with that? And you say, do you think most people like define it that way? And you try to get some sort of deduction, and you can just be like, well, I don't care. Wait, I don't know why you're talking right now. Did you really want to interrupt that badly? Yeah, I didn't think so. But yeah, as far as the actual empirical data, you also contradict yourself by saying, well, my project is to find out what people mean by woman, but also I don't care if my definition is outside of common usage. But in order to identify what people mean by woman, you'd have to use common usage, and you would use that as data and posit a hypothesis as to what they mean by women, which is what I've been able to succinctly do. Now, as for the hypothesis, I'm a pluralist about many things, but I do think that my definition, hypothetically, if we were to choose one definition, I think that my definition would actually be better. Although I am a pluralist, I'm a pluralist about the term person. For example, like, I think in some contexts I might be talking about my physical structure or my biological structure. But in another sense, I could totally say that you touched me when you pushed me off of the swings. It wouldn't really make a lot of sense to say, oh, but I didn't touch you, I touched your jacket. And by person, you're talking about your biological structure. So that doesn't make a lot of sense. And so I'm a pluralist about the term person. I'm a pluralist about the term ethics. I'm a pluralist about the term science in some cases. I'm also a pluralist about the term
Wait,
women.
hold on.
But I
want to
actually.
make Lucario, I want to make sure that Nate's like listening, because I don't know if he's got a phone call right now.
Oh shit.
He's on. I just don't want you to waste your.
Yeah. I can't
argument.
kick him. Can't kick him while he's down.
I'm here. Hello.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. I didn't know if you got a call again, so I didn't want
No,
Lucario to.
just finding stickers. Go ahead.
Okay, just wasting time. Okay, yeah. Rather than paying attention to the conversation, you were kind of just like drooling on your screen. You were kind of just like playing on your phone, looking through Pinterest, to, like finding anything that you can to diverge away from the conversation. But I actually understand if I was in your position, I'd do something very, very similar. But yeah, I'm a pluralist about that, and I think the best definition that I have, although I am a pluralist, I'm defending the proposition that semantic pluralism is true about the term woman. But even if hypothetically I were to commit myself to one definition, it would probably look like something along the lines of, well, an adult. I would say an adult person in society who desires to pass a particular threshold of characteristics that our respective society typically deems as feminine. And then for non-adults, it would just be for the term girl.
Are you finished?
No.
Oh, no? Okay, let me know when you're
No,
finished.
I wasn't finished. I was about to start making fun of your mom.
Okay, well, okay, sure.
Yeah,
So,
I'm being sarcastic. Obviously, I was finished.
as I was saying, right? Just to clarify, there isn't a contradiction, because when I say that I want to figure out what people mean, I'm not saying what people mean in general. I mean like the different people that I speak to individually on what they mean by the word woman. So there was no contradiction there. When I say that I'm interested in figuring out their consistency with what they mean, it's not contradictory with the statement that I also want to figure out what people mean by the word woman. When I say I want to figure out what people mean by the word woman, I just mean that I'm not talking about the general population, but instead individually different people and what they mean. For example, you. Okay, so yet again, you're not really doing anything here. I don't really understand what the point is here. If you don't care about critiquing the meanings of the word woman, then you're not really here to discuss the topic, are trans women. So I'm not really understanding what's the point here of this discussion.
Yeah, I grant you wouldn't understand what the point of this discussion is. Also, there was actually a couple options, either reductio or contradiction. You actually took the worst route, okay? You took the reductio, where like it got worse. So not only are you evading any empirics, even though we established that as as the proposition in contention, even though you're evading any common usage of the term woman, and you're using your own idiolect. That's not like an insult, by the way. That's just what the term means. But you're importing your own idiolect into a dialect, and that's really strange. But not only that, you're also isolating the types of people that you even want to find out the definition of. Whereas I feel like a proper discussion about our trans women would be something like what Matt Walsh did. Unironically, I think at a point where your interlocutor actually finds more inspiration from your side from Matt Walsh as opposed to you, I think that says something. I think that's some evidence to maybe take an alternative course of action in the way that you pursue knowledge. But in any case, I think that something like Matt Walsh's project was actually a lot more productive to the conversation of like what trans women are, whether trans women are women, because he goes out to other people that agree with him, people that disagree with him, and people that are undecided, and he asks them what they mean by women, and then he further makes a point with the data that he collected with that. That is my entire project, and the way that I go about collecting that data is through long, rigorous processes of hypotheses and predictions. But all of these things are things that are absolutely just unreachable, I think, given your project, because your project is very isolated and, as we said, aforementioned, uninteresting. So yeah, I grant that women are sausage linked to you. I'm not interested in critiquing your sausage link definition if the only critique that I've levied, which is well, it's out of accordance with common usage, you quote unquote don't care about that. Well, I mean, sure, trans women are sausage links, I guess.
Okay, so nothing has been achieved here. Do you see why?
Pretty much. I think it was a good faith discussion. I really enjoyed the conversation. Did you want to give a closing statement?
I don't need to give a closing statement. I don't just see the point of it, but sure. Honestly, yet again, this is just like running away from the core meat of the discussion. I think that if one person is saying that trans women are women and the other one is saying that trans women are not women, right? The clear dispute there is what they mean by the word woman, and my opponent here has refused to actually engage on that. Instead, he wants to focus on common usage and how other people may use the term or how persons generally in society may use the word. This isn't actually doing anything, right? You're not critiquing anyone's position. You're just saying that my view isn't in accordance with common usage, and then not actually debating the topic. So yet again, I don't even see the point in the discussion. So I don't really think this is doing anything, honestly.
You said they're not actually debating the discussion, even though I actually geared the discussion towards exactly the thing that I was able to prove. So yeah, there was a couple options. Sorry, did you want to go ahead?
Yeah, which is
the prop. Do you not remember the proposition? Here, I'll give you a hint. And while I'm giving you this hint, and just to be clear, while I'm giving you this hint, you're actually going to get a little tingly feeling in the back of your head. That's what I like to call recollection. And so the hint is, prior to the proposition, we talked about whether the proposition has a use message distinction in it, and whether or not one of the terms is variable. Do you remember the proposition now?
Yeah, I do remember the proposition. I always said I wanted you to repeat it. The proposition already. I would like for you.
Yeah. Most people, when they use the term woman, the criteria adult human female is not exhaustive.
Okay, right. So can I also use the use mentioned distinction when I say trans women are not women being the proposition then?
It's logically possible for you to do that. I don't know why you're giving more inputs when you've also kind of conceded. When you also sorry, just real quick,
Yes or no? I was speaking. I asked a yes or no question, and my petulant opponent proceeded to not answer. So maybe he can focus and do his little Pokemon drawings if he wants while I'm speaking. But I'm going to finish what I was saying. So as I was saying, right? I just wanted to add a direct answer to the question. If I say, right, that trans women are not women, all right, and then my opponent says trans women I say trans women are not women, and my opponent says trans women are women, if I'm utilizing the use mentioned distinction there, that could qualify for a proposition. Yes or no?
No.
Why?
Do you know the use mentioned distinction?
Can you answer my question? Why?
Here, well, in order to give the explanation, I need to understand the level of vocabulary that I'd have to use. And so the reason why I asked you that question was to understand how far I'd have to break down the use mentioned distinction for you. Now, given the last account of given the last account of the use mentioned distinction that I offered previously, the use mentioned distinction was making a salient divergence between using a term, so utilizing it as a contingency for the proposition in the sentence, and then the mention would just be referring to the term, the literal term, and not the semantics within the term. It would be literally referring to the mouth noise or the set of letters that conjoin to make that reference there. So the reason why you wouldn't be able to make a proposition given two propositions that already diverge on semantics, you wouldn't be able to make a new one just by adding a variable distinction there, because there's no two things to even distinct from. You can't use your definition, which already has locked-in semantics, to then negate the semantics of something that already had the locked-in semantics on. That's not how the use-mentioned distinction works. The use-mentioned distinction only works for variables. You've already locked in the variables. Those aren't variables anymore.
Okay, beautiful. It's just a simple question. Beautiful. So yet again, do you care to actually critique or have me critique your view on what you mean by the word, or do you not want to engage in that?
What are your criterion for criticism?
Well, I'm just going to look for like internal inconsistencies. Like let's say, for example, you say a woman. Let's give an example. If you're saying a woman is a person, an adult human who desires to reach a particular threshold of feminine characteristics, or sorry, reach a particular set of characteristics or threshold of characteristics that society considers feminine, and then I ask you if there are women out there who desire to meet a particular threshold of masculinity, for example, and you say yes, that would be internally inconsistent, right? Because then you're saying that it's actually not necessary or isn't definitive, right, for a woman to have that desire to be in accordance with feminine threshold or characteristics that meet the feminine threshold, but consider a woman can also still be a woman and not have those characteristics, for example. So that would be an example of a critique. So
you're criticizing the monoistic view as opposed to the pluralistic view that I told you I affirm?
well, I know
Is
you
that
have
what you're doing?
yeah. So you say you have a you say you have a pluralistic view, but we can't address all the definitions all at the same time. We'd address the definitions one at a time. So if you have a different understanding of the word woman in a different context, then we could also critique it the same way. But that's the definition I'd be addressing. So if you're saying that a woman is an adult human, right, who desires to reach a particular threshold of characteristics that that particular society culturally considers feminine, right, then I would just ask a few questions there to figure out whether or not that's actually what you think a woman is. That's
exhaustively? Whether or not you think that's what a woman is exhaustively or not?
Repeat, sorry?
Exhaustively?
Meaning?
The term exhaustive?
Yeah, exhaustive meaning.
Meaning it has sufficient criterion.
Okay.
Like an exhaustive list is something that is an all-encompassing list.
Yeah.
Why would you do that when I told you that's not the view? You want to attack the straw man? Is the straw man looking like really? Is the straw man like looking very attackable to you right now?
Hold on. I didn't straw man anything. I'm just going to ask a very basic question, right? You're saying that you have a pluralistic view on what the word woman means. Can I just get all your definitions really quickly? Give me all of them. So the first one you gave, give the other one.
No, I take that one. I take like probably like a psychosocial relationship view, and then I also take like a cluster concept view. But I think that if we hypothetically, if we were to talk about a singular definition, which is I think the kind of monism, the semantic monism that you want to affirm, given your definition, I think that view would actually account for the best data. That's the only proposition that I'm levying. That it accounts for better data than yours. And you don't care about that because you admitted that it's not interesting to you. And so whenever you give a definition, like hypothetically, if I just said, oh, women are just sausage links, and then you say, well, I want to see if that definition is consistent. So what about these cases? Are they still sausage links? And I'm like, no. And then you say, oh, that's an inconsistency. Well, the alternative would be for me to say yes. And then the only thing that would be accomplished there would be lacking on common usage, which is the thing that I've already landed on your view already.
Okay. So then what's the point of the discussion now?
Well, the point of the discussion flew out the window when you said that you didn't care about common usage and you actually didn't even know how to properly apply the use-mentioned distinction. It flew out the discussion when you said that you weren't able to give a proposition that you would even be able to debate, even though this is like your only topic that you ever debate. I mean, I think at that point, there really is no point in a discussion with you. I don't know why anyone would want to waste their time talking to you.
Wait, hold on. That's not, I wasn't able to not properly apply the use-mentioned distinction. I just gave you an example of a statement and I asked you to explain how it wasn't a use-mentioned distinction. That isn't me making the proposition that the statement is a use-mentioned distinction. So that's not an example of me incorrectly using the use-mentioned distinction. I gave you an example of a statement, the statement being trans women are not women, or two statements are trans women are not women.
Sorry, I got an alarm.
Trans women are women versus trans women are not women, and I asked you how it would be a use-mentioned distinction. That's not me stating that I do think it's a use mention distinction. That's not me using the use mention distinction inaccurately. So, and
Wait,
again, I guess.
wait, so just to be clear, you didn't know that? Wait, you didn't already know that?
That's not what I'm saying either. I just wanted an exact.
Why did you ask me that
I just
question?
I just wanted to see if you could answer that question. Right?
It was a pop quiz on the thing that I educated you on?
I'm sure you're very familiar.
Oh, no.
I'm sure you're very familiar with pop quizzes on the Pokemon. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with those. So, yet again.
Do you want to debate on whether that was a pop quiz or not?
Sorry, you're wasting my time now.
Do you want to debate on whether that was a pop quiz or not?
No, Lucario.
Okay, you kind of want to run away from that proposition.
No one's running away from anything. It's like you're just having a fun.
No, I'm joking. I wasn't being serious, man.
Yeah, usually jokes are funny, but thank you.
It was fun. It was actually hilarious.
Okay, are you done?
No, I'm not done. Now I'm gonna start making fun of your mother. No, I'm kidding. But yeah. So I guess the reason why I don't really believe you when you say that it was a pop quiz is that the way that you initially articulated the question was, okay, trans women are women versus trans women are not women. How would a use mention distinction not generate a what there? I want to know if you remember.
Did I not just say that with don't need to repeat this again to you?
You don't even remember your own pop quiz? It starts with a P.
I didn't say that I don't remember. We just went over this.
Starts with a P. Wait, you don't even remember your own pop quizzes?
Oh my goodness. Lucario, what is the point of this now?
The point is kind of just making fun of you. Like, I don't know why so many people.
You're not making fun of me. This is just meta talk. You're not actually debating the topic.
Yeah, making fun is meta talk. Good job. Did you not know that?
We've already made it clear that the interests of the debate are very different. Therefore, the debate cannot move forward. You are simply stating that you only care really about common usage, and I'm only talking about linguistic consistency. I'm saying the only.
Wait, do you not engage in meta talk? Like, have you never made fun of another debater?
The meat of them. Well,
and have you never made fun of another debater?
90% of my debate is not meta. I do meta. I've done it in this discussion here, but I don't do it.
We're not talking about a debate. The debate's over.
So 1 second.
I mean, you already conceded to the criterion.
So as I was saying, right, we've already established that the views are very different because you only care about common usage, right, and empirical data surrounding common usage, and I care about linguistic consistency, meaning whether or not the person's linguistic or semantic thesis is consistent. So yet again, there's just no point. So the debate can't move forward.
I don't know why you keep on saying that there's no point.
Because there isn't one.
Do you think I'm under the view that there is a point, even though I rhetorically told you how and why there is no point in anyone talking to you?
Well, I know there's no point in you talking to me because you hold that view. There are lots of people who actually care about linguistic consistency and are willing to have a conversation on that. However, Mr. Pokemon over here you're not ready for that. So clearly, that's the issue. So
there's no point in me talking to you about what? There's no point in me debating you, sure. But there's point in like me making fun of like the way that you debate. There's me making fun of like, hey guys, does X equal X? Guys, does X equal X? By the way, I don't care if X is actually common usage or not.
I was talking. Sorry.
You were talking and then you stopped.
Yeah,
okay.
Right. No, I wasn't actually done. So what you're gonna do right here, little boo, you're gonna see that little book next to you with all your little Harry Potter and your Pokemon books. You can go ahead and
think about it. Go ahead and think about the rest.
You can go ahead and shade those with your Sharpie ink markers. All right. So it's okay. All right.
Wait, did it take you long to think of that?
Moment. Stop tapping your foot. It's okay. Relax. Okay. It's okay. So as I was saying, right, you're a person who is actually willing to have discussion on the semantic consistency, I'm sure we'd be able to have a very good conversation about this, right? But you're not willing to have
a very good conversation about what?
You just want to. Sorry, I'm speaking. You just want to talk about. You just want to talk about common usage, and I'm not interested in talking about common usage. That's why the debate won't move forward. So it's not that there's no point in anybody talking to me. There just isn't a point in you and I specifically having a conversation, which is why from before I said, what would we be debating? Because every time we debated, this is what happened.
When you say linguistic consistency independent of empirical data, what kind of conversations would that look like? Can you give me two opposing propositions?
Yeah, well, no, I don't. It wouldn't be a proposition because definitions are not propositional. The difference would be the definition. It's linguistic consistency as far as the definition is concerned. So it would be like I said. All right. So let's say I say a woman is a person who has there's a definition in the Oxford language. The woman is a person with qualities traditionally associated with the female sex, for example, right? And then a person will ask, okay, what are the qualities traditionally associated with females? And we say, long hair, breasts, makeup, so on and so forth. And let's say we can identify persons who the person would still consider women who doesn't have those characteristics. That would be an example of linguistic inconsistency because the person is still using the word woman to refer to or saying the word woman refers to persons with qualities traditionally associated with females. But there's a clear instance where they still believe a person is a woman without those characteristics. So clearly, that definition is not consistent. That's the point.
Okay. I
So
think I understand.
that's the kind of
Yeah.
discussion. That's the kind of discussion I usually have when we have these kinds of discussions. Not
Let me try my hand at this kind of discussion. Here, try to attack my worldview. Go ahead.
sure. So you're saying a woman is an adult human who desires
No. I changed my definition.
So
Well, I take a woman to just be anybody who had Olivia Rodrigo as their top 3% on Spotify Wrapped in 2025.
okay, sure. Let's say, for example, Sabrina Carpenter doesn't listen to Olivia Rodrigo. Is she not a woman?
No, she's not a woman, and there's no inconsistency there. And also, I don't care if like everybody thinks that's insane or not. Wait, I don't know why you're talking. I wasn't finished. Wait, I wasn't finished. Yeah, I also don't care about common usage. I don't care if people are going to commonly call Sabrina Carpenter a woman. All that I care about is whether my definition was consistent or not. So
Well, yeah,
was it
we could
inconsistent?
well, no, there was no inconsistency, but we could say that the definition.
Oh, there was an inconsistency, really? Oh, so I win the debate? Wait, really?
You wouldn't win. I just wouldn't have the critique for the view. We could say the view.
Oh, so you don't have a criticism for that view? Wait, unironically, you don't have a criticism for that view? Wait, Edna, that was a stupid view. That was a dumb view. You should be able to critique it.
Sorry, the only view that's bad is the view you get of your $5 Amazon Pokemon glasses. There's no bad view there.
That didn't hit the first 2 times, bro. Here, say it one more time. I think it's gonna hit.
1 second. It's okay. It's all right. Take a moment, draw on your Pokemon book. It's gonna be okay. All right. There's no need to cry.
No, I told you to say it one more time. Bro, I was joking. Look, it actually didn't hit the 3rd time. I was joking, man.
It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. All right. So yet again, right? The definition would be consistent. You could consider the definition idiosyncratic, but there wouldn't be anything, inconsistent with the definition, right? Those are the kind of definitions I have.
So on what ground are you going to critique my view?
Well, I'm saying that right now I don't have one for that definition.
Wait, unironically, you don't have a criticism for that view?
Well, not for that view, but we could go with the
Jesus.
We could go with the definition you gave before. You said you changed it, obviously with bad faith. But I mean, yet again, do you want to address the actual first definition that you gave?
No, the first definition is used for empirics. This definition is playing your game.
No, hold on.
I stepped into your world, remember?
Hold on.
I thought you were really good at this. I thought you were really good at this topic. And you don't have a criticism of my view?
First definition, hold on. I don't have a criticism of your idiosyncratic definition, sure. But yet again, I'm not saying I couldn't think of one.
Is idiosyncrasy
I would
a
have
problem?
I would have to, from an external perspective, yes, not from an internal one, though. So, as I was saying.
Beautiful.
We would have to, so all I'm saying, right, is that I would have to probably sit and think of some way to critique it. I don't have that off the top of my head. Right, but yet again,
you have to think about that. I'm so sorry. I keep interrupting, but like, really, you have to think about that.
Yeah, we would have to think about it. Just like how you think about which Pokemon card you're gonna buy next, just like that. The same amount of meticulous thinking you put into that, right? So, yet again, you said you were a pluralist.
I think you want to see my collection, don't you?
I don't.
You want to see my Pokemon cards, don't you?
I don't want to see your Pokemon cards.
I don't know. They're kind of on your mind a lot.
No, it's just that the person's name I'm speaking to happens to be named Lucario, and that's a Pokemon. That's probably why. But all right. So, anyways, are we done here?
Yeah, I think we're done. Do you have a closing statement?
I don't have. I made my closing statement already. You opened it back up.
Okay. I mean, if you wanna hop out and maybe make some room for my victory speech.
We can make
that'd be